Chapter 18. The Weight of Loss. The funeral was over in minutes, yet the weight of it lingered, crushing me in ways I hadn't expected. My father, gone. The man who had shaped my life, my ambition, everything I had become. Now it was all on me. I stood by his grave as the final shovels of dirt covered his casket. The cold breeze cut through me, but I barely felt it. All I could focus on was the void left behind. My mother had quietly urged me to leave, but I needed this moment alone, to grasp the enormity of what was now mine to protect. The company, the legacy, my family's future. Could I really do it? The question had gnawed at me since his last words. My father had believed in me, believed I was strong enough to lead. But now, with him gone, the doubts crept in like shadows. The choices I'd made, the alliances, the betrayals, they felt precarious, like a game I wasn't sure I could win. I sat on the bench beside the grave, burying my face in my hands. I had lied, manipulated, and aligned myself with people like Carter, all to secure our future. But had I gone too far? Was I playing a game I couldn't control? I don't know if I can do this, I whispered, the weight of it all threatening to break me. But as I closed my eyes, I heard my father's voice, steady and firm. You've always been ready. You're stronger than you think. I straightened, wiping my eyes. He believed in me. But that meant I had to believe in myself. There was no choice now. I had to protect the company, the family. For him. For us. Standing, I walked back toward the car, where my mother waited. Her face was pale, but her eyes were full of the same quiet strength I'd seen in my father's. She reached for my hand, squeezing it gently. You'll be fine, Juliet. You were meant for this. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. I'll do what needs to be done. Your father knew you would, she said softly. As we drove away, I felt the shift. This wasn't just grief. It was resolve. I would lead. I would carry the weight of this legacy, no matter the cost. Because now, there was no turning back. The phone buzzed beside me as I sat at my father's desk. A stack of papers I hadn't bothered to look through scattered in front of me. I picked it up, seeing Carter's name flash on the screen. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to breathe. Carter, I answered, my voice calm, trying to push the weight of the day aside. Juliet, his voice came through soft, almost gentle. I'm so sorry for your loss. Truly, I can't imagine what you're going through right now. I just wanted you to know I'm here if you need anything. There was a brief pause, and I leaned back in the chair, closing my eyes. Thank you, I replied, feeling the familiar strain of emotions building again. It means a lot. Look, don't worry about the business right now, he continued, his tone smooth and reassuring. I'll handle everything. You need time. Time to process everything. I don't have time, I said, the words slipping out before I could stop them. The decision with Rockford is coming, and I can't afford to sit this out. Carter hesitated for a moment, and I could almost feel the shift in his demeanor. Rockford is leading our way, he said confidently. They see the potential in our merger. Once we secure their backing, Adrian won't be a threat. You'll have the control you need, Juliet. We'll have the control. I nodded, even though he couldn't see it. Good, I said, trying to muster the enthusiasm I should feel. But instead, a hollow feeling crept into my chest. It all felt off. Carter had become such an integral part of my plan, my safety net in this ruthless game of power, but something wasn't sitting right. Why did it feel like I was losing more than I was gaining? The phone buzzed again in my hand, and I glanced at the screen. Adrian. For a moment, I froze, staring at his name. Carter kept talking, going over the finer points of our strategy. But I didn't hear him. All I could focus on was Adrian's name lighting up on my phone. I sent the call to voicemail, shoving down the surge of guilt that rose with it. I couldn't deal with Adrian right now, not with everything else, not with the lies I was tangled in. Juliet. Carter's voice cut through my thoughts, his tone shifting with concern. You still with me? Yeah, I replied quickly, pushing the distraction of Adrian away. I'm here. So, what's the next move? Carter paused, as if considering his words. We'll reconvene with Rockford tomorrow. They've been impressed with our proposal. The merger is just within reach. Once it's official, there's no stopping us. Adrian's push for control will be dead in the water. Right, I said, but my voice sounded distant, even to me. The weight of everything was pulling me down again, and for the first time, I wasn't sure if I was making the right choice. The decisions I had made, the partnerships I had built with Carter, they felt like they were closing in on me. Was this really what my father would have wanted? Juliet, Carter's voice softened. You're going to make it through this. And when you do, company will be stronger than ever. We'll be stronger. I forced a smile, even though I knew he couldn't see it. Thanks, Carter, I said. I'll call you tomorrow. I hung up before he could say anything else, my fingers trembling as I set the phone down. The silence in the room seemed to expand, pressing in on me from all sides. The plan was working. Carter and I were on the verge of taking everything. But why did it feel like I was losing a part of myself in the process? My chest tightened, and I suddenly felt like I couldn't breathe. The weight of my father's death, the constant maneuvering, the lies. I couldn't hold it together anymore. The phone buzzed again, Adrian's name flashing once more, but I ignored it. I couldn't talk to him. Not now. Not after everything I had done. I stood up abruptly, the chairs scraping against the floor as I moved. I needed air. I needed something. Without thinking, I walked out of the room and down the hall, my legs moving on their own as I headed toward the only place I could think of, the library. The door was slightly ajar, and through the crack, I could see the glow of the fireplace casting flickering shadows across the walls. My mother sat in her usual chair, her gaze fixed on the flames, her face unreadable. For a moment, I hesitated. She had been so strong throughout all of this, and I didn't want to burden her with my doubts, my failures, but I couldn't hold it in any longer. I needed her. I stepped into the room, my breath catching in my throat. We need to talk. She looked up, her eyes meeting mine, and in that instant, I saw the understanding there. She didn't say anything, but her expression told me she knew the weight I was carrying, the choices I had made. I moved toward her, my heart pounding in my chest as the fire crackled softly behind us. And then, silence.